I've been holding on to dreams that we had. Keep them close on this shelf above me. I walk in circles through this empty house. Heard you build a new life without me. Guess I wasn't special, just another game show. Left a broken trail behind you. You sold me on heaven, then you burned it all down for the hell of it. What a disaster. I try not to panic. In the mirror I'm fine, but inside all the glass in me shattered. You know what killed me the most? I still got nothing but love for you.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Distance Trauma. I'm your host, Lisa Styles. I pray everyone had an amazing and blessed week. On today's episode, we will talk about love liars, aka lustful love liars. Have you ever met someone and you were madly over the hills for them? Well, I was. Let's get into it. Some would call it lust. But when you're in a moment, it could feel like love at first sight. But in all reality, after it's all said and done, it's really just lust. Because lust does and can feel like love. That's how the devil projects it to us. That's really how he really project it to us. A lot of people didn't even know that it is a lust demon. It's a female and it's a male. So as me being a female, I dealt with the lust demon. And with lust and some love is followed by the lies. And that lust demon's name start with the A, but I'm not going to call out his name. You could go Google it. He's a demon that's associated with the skin of lust. With the sin of lust. He's a medieval demon. He's also known as the demon of lust. And he's been something that I have been battling with pretty much all my life. All my life. And with me being a survivor, I ain't gonna say a victim, a survivor of sexual abuse, being touched on as a child, dealing with rape in my teenhood, and dealing with other sexual things as an adult. Only two things happen to you. You either become enraged with sex, like you just have to have sex, overly indulge in sex, or you just don't want to have anything to do with sex. I was I was overly indulged with sex. I felt like I needed the sex. I will replace the sex with things that I needed to do in life. It was like a drug. And I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I would lust over the wrong men. And that caused a lot of pain in my life. A lot of pain. So have you ever experienced lust for someone and you mistaken it for love? Have you ever? I remember this one time. I was working at Tyson Foods. If you don't know what Tyson Foods is, it's a chicken factory. And in the area that I grew up in, was raised in, that's literally like the best job there. And it was nothing but a whorehouse. Everybody was dating everybody. Everybody was going with everybody's husband, everybody's wives. They would have sex in the box room, in the bathroom, in the parking lot, wherever. And I was working in the deboning section, packing gizzards. Cold, floor wet, hands cold, freezing environment. And I saw this guy, dark chocolate skin, big white Steve Harvey teeth. He had this slick walk. He walked like he had a big penis. Yeah. And his voice was different. It's like he had a frog in his throat when he talked. And I overlooked that part because he just looked so magenta. And baby, when I seen him, I was like, I got to have him. I got to have him. Woo, I thought that was love at first sight. So I would watch him when he would come back there in the back and get the pallets. So one day he caught me watching him. So he had to been watching me for me to catch him, for him to catch me watching him. So he was watching me too. He told a friend of mine that he was watching me. So we ended up hooking up. And I thought I hit the jackpot with this dark chocolate, white pearly teeth, big dick walk. Young man, I thought I had hit the jackpot. Woo! I thought I was in love. That walk, yeah. He had a nice package. But the bullshit that came behind that package, oh my God. The demon set me up on that one, y'all. Man, when I tell you, that was the worst relationship I ever been in my life. My life got flipped upside down. When we had first got together, it was okay. He had just, his ex-girlfriend had just had a baby, a little girl, and I always wanted a little girl. And they was at the beginning stage of their breakup. We young. She's younger than us. Really immature. She didn't want me to be around a daughter. And I understood. But at that time, now I understood. But at that time, I'm like, what I'm going to do to your daughter? Whatever. Because the way she was going about it was very immature. She wanted to fight. She wanted to just start a whole bunch of mess. And I used to go with him when he would go see his daughter. Because he had he had visitations, but it was monitored visitations. And I would sit in the car like a dummy. Because he was like, I'll be there an hour. It was only for an hour. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Not knowing at the time that when he was going to visit his daughter, they were still having relations while I was sitting out in the car. I didn't find all this out until the end. So she had a reason to still be upset because he was bouncing back and forth and he was telling me one thing and he was telling her another. He would even take me to church with him. The same church her mother was preaching at. The same church that her family was going to. So who really was a dummy in this situation? Me. Because I saw all the red flags. I saw them. But the big dick had me gone. I overlooked it because of the chocolate skin and the big white pearly teeth and the nice big dick walk. I even bumped heads with my mother. She didn't like him. She couldn't stand him. She didn't want him in her house. So he wasn't allowed to go there. And at that time, I was back and forth and finding a place. And I was staying with her at the time. And she did not want him in that house. And I was like, well, why? Like, what did he do to you? Like, why are you tripping? The devil know the devil, huh? The devil knows another demon. You would thought that they would got along. Now that I found some things out, realized some things, opened up my eyes to a lot of things, you thought that they would got along. Maybe they was on a different tribe. Maybe they wasn't on the same, I don't know. Maybe they was Bloods and Crips in the demon world. I don't know. But they didn't like each other. He didn't like her. She didn't like him. So he wasn't allowed in the house. So we would have to sneak around to be together. It was times where he wanted to spend a night with me. We didn't want to, leave each other's sight. So we would sleep in the car. And we would wait until my mom would leave to go to work and then go in the house. Yeah, it was wrong, but we did it. Until we found a place up the street from my mother's house, to be exact, a trailer off in the back of the woods. Baby, this trailer was so ran down. The roaches had roaches. At night, I would be sitting in the living room and the little mice would come out and would play. And they was more afraid of me than I was afraid of them. I mean, they would be playing like they were playing hide and seek. They wouldn't even be paying me no attention. It had spiders in the house. It had so many spiders in the house, I couldn't believe I even stayed in there. But it was like house spiders, and they only stayed in certain spots. And we would just get spray and kill them or whatever. And very so often, like those big wood spiders would come in the house. I almost threw the door down one day. I came back home from getting groceries and putting up the stuff. And I went in the bathroom to put up some stuff that I got from Dollar General. And it was a spider hanging from the shower. Man, I turned around and ran out that bathroom so fast. I took the door off the hinges. That spider had on a bandana and some Timberland boots. I said, no way. You ain't gonna get me. No. I tore the door off the hinges. But nevertheless, I stayed there because I wanted to be with the chocolate skin, pretty teeth, big dick walk boy. I didn't allow my son to stay there like that. He spent the night every now and again because I didn't want him in that type of environment. And plus, anyway, he really didn't talk to my son. He really didn't have a relationship with my son. My son really didn't like him. So I wasn't going to force him or my son on each other. So one night, actually, let me back it up a little bit. I had a place, but I ended up losing that place. Or did I lose the place? No, I left the place because the lady downstairs had passed away and her spirit was still in the house. And I didn't want to be around that. So I ended up giving up the place. That's what happened. Yeah, I ended up giving up the place. But he ended up staying with me while I had that place. So that's how I ended up at my mom's house. Yeah. And living with him, it was okay. But he had got locked up at the time. And he had called me. And he was like, I want you to come see me. I'm like, okay. So I got all ready, get myself together, thinking I was going to go see him the next day. And he called me. He said, don't come. He said, something came up. And, I didn't really think much about it. I'm like, okay. Come to find out, he didn't want me to come because the baby mama was coming and she was bringing the baby. Which, he could have just told me that and I would have understood. But it was a secret because they were still having relations. And he didn't want us to, meet and possibly talk or he didn't, you know, he was trying to keep us up away from each other, but yet you brought me to her house and you would bring me to church. But okay, whatever. And he had got out and he called me and I went and picked him up. And not too long after that, I had gave the place up and I ended up staying with my mom. And I told you we was staying in the car and all that type of stuff. And one night he was like, well, let's go to my mom's house. He was like, my mom really don't let people in the house. I'm like, why? He was like, she just doesn't. She's private. I'm like, okay, well, we don't have to go. And he was like, no, we can go. So his mom agreed to let us stay there. We walk in the house. Well, tried to walk in the house. He pushes the door in with a force. It was stuff everywhere. It was like mountains and mountains of stuff. It was like a maze. I see why she didn't want people in her house, because the house was nasty. Nasty. It was more like Joe's apartment. The roaches was everywhere. You couldn't even walk in the bathroom because it was stuff piled up in the bathroom, and then the roaches just hanging on stuff like Tarzan. Oh, like just roaches. I'm like, oh my God. But I like the boy, the dark-skinned boy with the pretty teeth and the big dick walk. I overlooked it. Went in the room that we was sleeping at. And it was newspapers. I mean, newspapers on top of newspapers on top of newspapers. It was newspapers dated back in 1965. Newspapers just everywhere. And you know, roaches love paper. But I was there with the dark-skinned guy with the pretty white teeth and the big dick walk. We laid down, was trying to get some sleep. I felt something messing on my nose. I said, what in the world is that? I opened up my eyes. Y'all, it was a roach playing on my nose with his little antennas. Man, I smacked that roach. That roach hit that wall. I said, oh, hell no. I went and I sat in my car. I went to sleep in my car. I said, I can't do this shit. I said, nope. Good night. He said, what? Where are you going? I said, I'm going and sleep in my car. I said, I can't do this shit here. I said, no. And I never, ever stayed at his mama house again. Never even went in the yard. That house was nasty. I mean, nasty. I wouldn't want nobody. I mean, nobody to see the inside of my house. I don't even know how she agreed to let me come in there, because I would have been embarrassed. And then that family has nerve to walk around out here in the world and act like they the best shit since government cheese and sliced bread, and you live in a pile of rubbish with roaches that swing from stuff like they Tarzan. And newspapers on top of newspapers on top of newspapers. You thought that was a newspaper factory. Stuff everywhere. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't live like that. So we ended up finding the trailer that I was just talking about. That was better than his mama house, to be honest. But it still wasn't livable, and the landlord knew that, but they was money hungry and they agreed to let us stay there. They didn't do an application or nothing. So I was like, okay, I get to be with the dark-skinned guy with the pretty white teeth and the big dick walk. We was living together. And at that time, I got my job as a deputy sheriff. And he was also selling drugs on the side. So sometimes he would ask if he used my car. And I would tell him, no, you're not going to do that type of activity. Not in my car. Because at that time, I had SpongeBob on my tag. So everybody knew my car. No, sir. He would get mad. He would get mad. And the whole time we was together, he was still talking to the baby mama. Then his oldest brother needed a place to stay. He didn't even ask me could he come stay with us, but he did. I look up, here he come with his bags and a pack of hot dogs. The boy ate nothing but hot dogs. Hot dogs, hot dogs, hot dogs. He would come and eat up all the groceries in the house. He didn't have no respect. Even the vermins that was in the house, the rodents that was in the house, didn't like him. Yeah. Until one day I was like, I can't take this no more. You gotta go. I told his brother, you got to go. You gotta go. Even the rodents don't like you. And that's bad. That's bad enough. You gotta go. And he left. But boy, did me and his brother have a bad argument, to the point where he had left me there at the house and went out. 2 days later, I had his phone. He must forgot he gave a girl his number. And I talked to the young lady or whatever. She wasn't rude. I wasn't rude to her. Because why? Why would I be rude to her? She probably didn't even know about me. And plus, I had to be nice to her because I needed the information. So yeah, I'm going to play Miss Nice Lady to get the information that I needed, and I got it. And she told me, she said, I said, well, what the guy that was talking to you, what did he sound like? She said, he sounds like he has a frog in his throat. I know she wasn't lying, because that's exactly what my dude sounded like he had a frog in his throat. Got him. So you out cheating, all because I said your brother had to go. Or you was out cheating because that's what you was doing the whole time. While I'm laying up here in this nasty ass trailer just to be with you. I'm downing myself and how I was raised just to be with you. I'm sleeping in a car, and I'm sleeping in a place where roaches is playing the piano on my nose. Just to be with you, and you out cheating on me. So when he came home, we had an argument. A big argument. That argument turned bad fast. My son was there that night, and we was fighting. And my son ran out his room, and he had this little Nerf gun. And you know, he's a child. He didn't know. He didn't really know. He just thought he was protecting his mama. And all I can hear my son, let go of my mama. Leave my mama alone. And when I looked, I turned and looked. My son had his little gun. This boy goes and grabs his gun. His real gun. And man, all I saw was red. And somehow I got the strength of 20,000 gorillas. And I slammed him. He got up. And we went to battling. Like two niggas in a back alley. He ended up leaving. I ended up calling my brother. He came over. And when I went in the bathroom and lifted my shirt up, my back looked like it had the United States map on it from the bruises of us battling. We pulled everything off the wall but the kitchen sink. The stove was pulled from the wall. Cabinets was pulled off. The doors was pulled off the cabinets. The cabinets was falling off the wall. We was battling. Do you hear me? You gonna pull a gun out on my son? He didn't beat me. He didn't just beat me like a man beat on a woman. No. I may have bruises on my back that look like the United States map, but guess what? That nigga was injured as well. Yeah, he was injured. He beat me and I beat the shit out of him. Yeah. Yeah. And I felt so bad at that time because I'm like, I put my baby in that. And he could have pulled the trigger and killed my son. And that would have been on me. And I said, nah, I can't do that no more. And the next night, me and my brother was at the trailer, packing up the stuff or whatever. And here comes Donkey Face. Oh, I want to get the rest of my stuff. And because he brought the groceries that week, he took everything out the house, even the bread. And so my dumb brother gonna go outside and say, hey man, I just want to fix a sandwich. Can I have the two end pieces off the bread? That made that nigga mad. But I didn't know at the time he was really coming back looking for that gun. My brother had got the gun and took the gun. He had took the gun actually and buried it. Because he was going to sell it. So, oh my God, he wanted to call the cops. Nigga, I am the cops. So when the police showed up, he thought they was going to do something. Me and the police, we actually sitting there having a conversation. We laughing and joking and talking. That made him even more madder. So he goes and press charges. We get a court date. Guess who's sitting in the courtroom with him? The baby mama. The mama, her mama, the pastor, the whole church congregation. I mean, everybody. And I'm there with just me and my son. My brother didn't come. My mom didn't come. Nobody came. I should have brung the rodents that was at the house. At least they could have spoke up for me. I only had my son. The judge wouldn't let my son testify to tell his side because he was a child. But they couldn't prove that I stole the gun or anybody stole the gun. So they threw the case out. So I'm walking out the courtroom. They're, they laughing, they giggling or whatever. I felt stupid. Stupid. Plus, I didn't have nobody on my side. Nobody showed up for me, as usual. A few months passed, and I'm at the laundromat washing clothes. And I bent down, and I heard a familiar voice. And when I look up, there's a dark-skinned guy with the white pretty teeth with the big dick walk. His brother outside with the music loud. I said, oh, Lord. Out of all the laundromats, they had to come to this one. I told my son, I said, come on, baby, get your stuff. I said, we about to go. We gather up all the stuff and clothes, and I'm taking the laundry basket outside. And old homeboy got some new car. And then baby mama is sitting in the car on the front seat, smiling like she just won a prize. And I'm looking at her like, girl, you can have that headache. The big dick is not all that. He don't even eat coochie well. The big dick is not all that. What it's all cracked up to be, honey bun. You can have that. But I was embarrassed. I felt bad. I felt ashamed. I felt betrayed. I was mad. When I pulled off, I started crying. And my son said, Mommy, what's wrong? He was like, don't cry. It's going to be okay. And he was right. But at that moment, I was more embarrassed than anything. More embarrassed than anything. And now that I sit back and I look at that situation, I put myself in that situation because of lust. That wasn't love. That damn sure wasn't love at first sight. I fell for lust. I fell for the dark skin. I fell for the pretty white teeth. I fell for the big dick walk. I fell for that. That lust demon is something powerful. Because when they know your weakest, they will use that against you. When they know your weak point. And the devil know how to dress up things that look so pretty. That's what he do. He dresses up your weakest moment. And he dresses it up so nice to where you will believe that it's God sent. And I fell for lust. And lust got me nowhere but embarrassment, heartache, heartbreak. Yeah. So that was all me. I don't blame nobody but me on that one. Please stop ignoring the red flags. Just because they are attractive or they have good sex, or even if they have good oral sex, is not worth the extra heartache. It's not worth the extra pain. It's not worth the extra stress. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Trust me, it's not worth it. I'm quite sure a lot of ladies that's listening to this podcast, or even men that happen to listen to this podcast, can agree that they fell for lust before. And at the end of the day, you sit back and you think, man, that was not worth it. But that lust demon would get you every time. Even if you have dreams of having sex, that's the lust demon. And the female lust demon starts with an S. And I'm not going to call their names. But if you ever had sex in your dream, you're actually having sex with a demon on the spiritual side. Yes, if you ever had sex in your dream, you're actually having sex with a demon. Yeah. So I tell you, sit back when you meet somebody, analyze it. It's nothing wrong with analyzing it. Make sure that it's not just lust. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. But for me, it's not worth it. It's just not. And the devil will play on that. And it's just a sin. It's another sin. And I'm tired of sinning. I'm tired of letting the devil win. I'm tired of giving the devil a piece of me. And in that area, you can't have a piece of me no more. No. I used to have, I couldn't even, like if you was like looking over my shoulder and I was in my phone, I would tell people, don't look over my shoulder looking at my phone because you might see something that you don't want to see. I had over 2,000 porn videos in my phone. I used to love watching porn. Lust. Not knowing what I was literally doing to myself. Now, I tell anybody, you want to look at my phone? Because now I replaced those 2,000 videos with 2,000 gospel videos. I erased all that porn out my phone. I don't even look at porn anymore. Pornhub was my thing. I ain't ashamed to say it. I did it. It is what it is. You can't judge me. Oh well, judge your mama. But I deleted it. I told God, I said, I'm done with this. I said, no, I'm better than this. And now I have gospel in my phone. Gospel. Gospel videos. Gospel music. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to hear. Yeah. I replaced that with something more positive, something more better. I don't have heartache. I'm not stressed out when I listen to gospel music and I look at those gospel videos. So whether you believe in God, whether you believe that there's a higher power, whether you believe, they say the man in the sky or whatever, whoever you pray to, or apple or orange, I don't know. I don't know who your God is or who the Most High is in your life. But I'd rather have something positive that I believe in than something negative, than something like the lust demon that can take over my mind, my body, my soul, and have me doing things that I have to now repent for, or have me doing things that may cause me lose my life. Yeah. I'd rather believe in something more positive than that. So, the lust demon, you can't have me no more. You can't have me no more. The lustful love liars, you can't have me no more. No. I thank God for my husband. I always tell him he's my angel on earth. because I really feel that way. I prayed for him over 30 some years ago. He didn't come when I prayed, but he came when I needed him. And God put him in my life at the right time when he knew that I needed him. And he is my angel on earth, until said otherwise. But as of right now, he's my angel on earth. And I thank God for him every day. Don't get me wrong. Temptation is still there. But I don't allow that temptation to take over me. I control me, not the temptation. Because I know what I have at home. I know who I am. I know what I'm worth. Yeah. So I advise anyone, evaluate it. Evaluate the person. Make sure that it's love. And even if it is love, just evaluate the person. Just make sure that's the person for you. But that lust is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And I decided, like I said, to take control over my life and replace everything negative with a positive. And I ain't sitting up here saying that I'm a holy roller, I'm holier than thou, because I still got a lot of ways to go. But I'm better off than I was before. I tell you that. I'm better off than I was before. And at least I'm doing something to be better. I'm doing something to be greater. I'm doing something that's positive. I'm not letting the devil control my life with his little antics, with his little pretty self. Because that's what they are, antics. So I advise you to do the same thing. It's worth it. It's well worth it, believe me. But seeing my back looking like the United States map and him pulling that gun out on my son, that's an eye-opener. That was a big eye-opener for me. And I didn't want any more of those eye-openers. All because of the tone, the color tone of your skin, the color of your teeth, and your walk. Because that's what I was attracted to. It's not worth it. And I'm glad I woke up and see my worth. I know my worth. Yep. But you have to decide for yourself what you want in your life and what you don't want in your life. But if you have a lust demon in your life, get them out before it be too late. Before it be too late. Because you can run across that wrong lust demon and give you AIDS or give you a disease that you can't get rid of. So, with that being said, that's all we have for this episode. But after each episode, I always give my email information. If you want to leave a comment, a positive comment. If you want to just tell me your story. Or if you just want to say hi. You can email me at distanttraumas with the S podcast at gmail.com. Again, that's distanttraumas with the S podcast at gmail.com. And after every episode, I always end in a scripture. This week is Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily answered. It keeps on record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. And that's all we have for this episode. Again, if you have not prayed this week, sit down and say a prayer. Because prayer does changes things. Trust me, it do. And you're not alone. God is always with you. And again, be safe. Until next time.
Inside all the glass in me shattered. You know what kills me the most? I still got nothing but love for you. Love for you, love for you, love for you. You know what kills me the most? I still got nothing but love.